Okay, all right. I'm back finally. um, and it is This Week in Anime number 13. Number 12 did not occur on video, but it is on the website if you're looking for that. This week we're gonna have a few things. Matter of fact, we're gonna have probably a few more anime than we usually do talk about. So let's get right into it. It is This Week in Anime number 13, like I think I've already said. Let's go. Spoiler alert and disclaimer. All right. First and foremost, I'm going to be reviewing these episodes, and not so much reviewing as talking about what happened in those episodes and adding in my own thoughts. So yes, there will be spoilers throughout. So be prepared for that. Second, we don't read no manga around here. So only time I really read the manga is when the anime is done and I know that it's continuing on in the manga. That's when I read the manga. Log Horizon. This one is this week was a pretty funny one. Usually I will put shows like this in the anime mentions on the website, on the actual article on the website. I wouldn't actually talk about this on a video, but I had a lot of fun actually watching this particular filler episode. And this week, Log Horizon, it's Valentine's Day. Yeah, I know how odd that sounds because we here in the real world just finished celebrating Christmas and are still gearing up for New Year's right now this week. And these guys are already on Valentine's Day. So how does that work? I have no idea. But that's what they decided to do here on Year's End, was a Valentine's Day episode. So in Log Horizon, you have got to know that, of course, with it being Valentine's Day, you know, you're gonna have all kind of love crap going all over the place. But in particular, there is a special kind of fruit that grows it grows in the game right around this time, and it's called the coconut fruit. This fruit not only has the ability to create very nice and very tasteful desserts, but according to its flavor text, it also can force the person to admit who they love once they've eaten the fruits. So now that flavor text becomes very important, because you have to know that some of the girls in the Log Horizon really want to know who their lover or the guy that they're interested in really does actually love. Who do they like? So you have several girls going after this fruit, and they are causing all kinds of chaos over this fruit, trying to shove it down the throats of the person they love in some form or fashion. Some of them bake sweets, others make candies. They're trying everything they can. So you have to know that Shiro was in trouble with Akatsuki and Benro. A few of our guys were in some trouble here. So it was a pretty funny episode. The end result is, well, let's see. Benro and Akatsuki didn't really get the answer they wanted because they froze right when it was time. Mari and Naigatsu, I can't remember, I never can pronounce that guy's name exactly right. But when Marie gave him her candy, Akatsuki kneed the crap out of him, because when she asked him what the question was, I think we already know what he was going to say, but she asked him who she likes, and I think he was going to say open pervert, which is usually what he classifies himself as. And before he could get the words out, Akatsuki came out of nowhere and kneed him in the face. So yeah, that shut that down. And then also, poor Shoryu ain't got no love. Man, the dude got sloppy seconds. That was terrible. And he was like so lonely that even this horrible gesture made him happy. When Marie didn't get the answer she wanted from her lover, her person of interest, she just gave the rest of the candies to Shoryu, and Shoryu being so lonely, it made him happy. I mean, but I just felt so sad. I feel so sad for him with that. And Nyanta, old man, I always think of him as like an old man or something in real life. I don't know who he is, but he's always like the wise guy of the group, the one with the wisdom. but he actually had someone of interest too that was interested in him, who wanted to use the fruit on him. That didn't happen because of Akatsuki and Minro and Mari and all these other people who bought all the cochineal fruit that was in the store. So this poor girl had to actually go and pick flowers, thorned flowers, for Neon to show her love for him. And that has to be love. She had bandaged up hands and everything, and she picked all these flowers for him just to show that she actually liked him. And that was pretty awesome. All in all, the show was pretty funny, and it was just an interesting show that really threw me off because it's a Valentine's Day show and it's New Year's time now. So yeah, it threw me off, but it was still funny. So it's pretty cool. All right, continuing on with series that are not exactly over yet, pushing into the new year. It is Naruto Shippuden, and this week, Madara, what? I can't pronounce nothing this week. Madara is still go ahead and playing his little tug of war game, pulling the tailed beast back into the Gedo statue. And there's a whole lot of things going on in this show, so we're just going to try and condense it down as much as possible. So let's get right to it. First things first, Tobirama, that's Hashirama's brother, the second or third, I think it's the second, Hokage, made a failed attempt to kill Madara. That didn't go well. While that was going on, the Gedo statue has succeeded in pulling the tail beast in, and therefore Naruto has officially had his Jinchuriki pulled out of him, had his tail beast pulled out of him. So now Naruto is dying. While that's going on, Zetsu is pummeling the rest of the shinobi out there, still trying to fight the good fight. So they are tired. Everyone is running out of chakra, running out of energy. Right before the Nine Tails was pulled in, he asked a favor of Gaara, and I'm not exactly sure what it was, but we will see what it is in the next show, because Gaara immediately picked up Naruto, flew him over to the remaining shinobi to see if he can get him healed. Of course, Sakura was the only medical healer that had any energy left. And so she had to be the one to try and heal him, but once again, she had very little energy. So she's running out of energy. Naruto's dying, and I don't even think healing is really going to help this. So we're really going to see what kind of impossibility is going to be pulled off while this is going on. The third is fighting his butt off. I mean, he's literally doing all the fighting at this point because everyone is so freaking tired. So it's him versus Setsu, and Zetsu's the one who is beating down on everyone. And while that's going on, Sasuke receives the last of energy that Hashirama has to offer. Hashirama believes that Sasuke is the one that can make a difference in this fight, so he gives him the last energy, and I think he also teaches him a new jutsu that he didn't know before. So once that happened, he flies over to Madara to try and attack him in his blind side, I guess, and ends up getting killed. So, well, he's not dead, but he received a fatal blow, freaking sword through the chest. So now he's on the ground bleeding out his last breaths and what have you. So that didn't go as planned. So now we have just a mess of things going on. So I can't wait next week to see how any of this is going to play out. What's going to happen? How's Naruto going to get back into this? How is Sasuke going to get back to this? Hell, how's anyone going to get back into this? Because right now it seems like Madara is pretty much going to have his way. Alright, Strike Witches. This is an anime that I have not watched much of ever. So this is kind of a new thing for me, but I do know that this anime has been around for some time. But this particular one is Operation Victory Arrow, which we're just going to completely ignore the cleverness of the fact that it also spells out OVA. Pretty nice. Pretty nice thing they did there. In this first episode of the OVA, Heat Marie is now officially under Mina's command, which that was pretty much the first thing that happened in the show. But progressing later on into the show, Bockhorn and Hartman receive a visit from Hartman's sister, Ursula, or Ursula. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. And Ursula brought some gifts with her, some pretty odd gifts and some neat ones too. But even more importantly, she brought some prototype weapons and gear for them to test out. And apparently Hartman did not like this at all. Apparently she is very much against change. And so this caused a few problems because pretty much she was huffing and puffing throughout the whole testing they were doing, as Bockhorn was having a blast testing out a new 50mm cannon and jetpack to be able to use it. However, it still has some issues and she couldn't really aim it just right, but it did work, and so it definitely is going to be useful later on. And after that, it was time for Hartman and Ursula to test a twin jetpack. It was meant for two co-pilots, so it was a really weird looking. But the funny thing about it was Ursula modified Hartman's suit to actually do this without even telling her. So that was pretty messed up, but that's what happened. They took it up, started flying, of course, because Hartman didn't agree with Ursula at all and was complaining throughout this whole thing. She pushes the prototype a little too hard in her frustration and ends up breaking it. What she didn't think about the fact was that what she broke wasn't just a prototype, it was also her actual jet suit, her actual jet that she needed to fight with. So she just grounded herself, just being stupid. So that happened, and they got into an argument and all this other stuff. But you had to have known, because there's this new weapon and new prototype and weapons and gears, that there had to be an enemy to actually use this on. Enter in the new enemy, who just so happened to have extremely hard armor, or thick armor. There we go, extremely thick armor. And also was able to split itself into several vessels just to make things that much more frustrating, but to make it a better target for the new gear. However, they didn't use the new gear. They just went out with what they had because their intel told them that the enemy was just a simple scout. Obviously, it was wrong. And once they figured that out and got themselves pinned in a corner, Bockhorn immediately tried to run back and go grab the gear. However, Hartman was listening on the radio over ear, and she went and grabbed the prototype gear to try and save her friends. So it got real interesting there. Here's where all the action kicks in, and because Hartman is so I don't know, she's like a genius, I guess, because when she picks up anything, she immediately can figure it out and use it. And she jumped into the gear first time using the 50mm cannon and the jetpack, and she seemed to be doing better than Bockhorn was. However, the aiming was still a little off. So they didn't know exactly how they're gonna figure that out, because they're already mid-flight, they're trying to fight everybody. Her sister comes along, and she actually had her own little jetpack that she didn't tell anyone about. And together they maneuvered the new system, and now Hartman was finally able to aim correctly with this big ass 50mm cannon gun. So they took down the enemy. It was a pretty cool flight, pretty cool air fight. Like I said, it's my real first time really watching Strike Witches, and right now all I can say is it's pretty good. I'm gonna definitely keep an eye on this series, this OVA. And a bit of a little change up from my usual. We're not going to talk about a series this time, but actually a movie. The movie is called Expelled from Paradise. The actual name is Rakuen Tasahayo. I can't pronounce it that well, so I'm just going to say Expelled from Paradise. Now, this movie was released last month, I believe, according to my research, but it just recently popped up on my fave streaming website this week. So I went ahead and took a look at it, and it was an hour and 43 minutes well spent. I was really really impressed by this movie. I really liked it. It's set in a futuristic time where we have not only Earth but also a separate vessel that floats high above it called Diva. Now, what is Diva? Diva is not a place for the rich. It's not like that other movie some time ago. I can't remember the name of it, but Diva is not a place just for the rich or for the whatever wealthy or what have you. That's not exactly the case. As a matter of fact, over 90% of the population is actually on this vessel, and they're living virtual lives as constructs instead of in their actual bodies themselves. So it's a very odd situation we have here. Down below, Earth is kind of periled by some kind of nano type disease, which has forced the population to move over to Diva, but not everyone did, and I'm guessing it was more for personal reasons is why the little remaining population that is on Earth is there right now. So what do we have? What's going on? Well, as of late, Diva has been receiving some hacker threats and messages. Well, they weren't actually threats, but they were definitely attacks on its network, because this hacker known as Frontier Cellular was trying to relay a message to the citizens of Diva, talking about some weird ship and something like that, and no one knows what the heck this guy is talking about, him or her. And so Diva dispatched their agents to investigate. So they dispatched them to Earth to investigate as to why these hacker attacks were occurring. Fast forward, and we have our agent in question, which is Angela Balzac. Angela Balzac. It didn't take none but 2 seconds of me scrolling around this video to find someone saying Agent Balzac, because it sounded just like that. But whatever. She meets with Dingo and immediately gets into the crap, because Dingo is instead of just simply meeting her like he's supposed to, he is being chased by a desert word, like the entire half a desert worth of worms, ugly, nasty ass worms. And so leave it to Angela to clean up his mess and destroy them all. And it turns out that that was actually part of his plan, because he works out deals with the local citizens around the towns, and so he riled up this worm so that he can get them killed, and therefore the citizens can have their meat that they're going to use to survive and live and sell. Angela wasn't all too pleased with that, but as you see later on in the show, there's more than a few situations where Dingo pretty much shows her how the world works as far as Earth is concerned, because she doesn't really know herself. She just knows whatever Diva tells her, and of course Diva doesn't tell you everything. And with that being said, fast forward into the actual case of the Frontier Cellular and who is this mysterious hacker and all this other stuff. Well, as Angela is figuring out more and more about how a human body works, she gets sick and all kinds of stuff. She doesn't know she doesn't know what sleepiness is. She doesn't even know how to do that right. They finally put together as many clues as they can about the hacker and actually meet the hacker. A robot. Just a small, harmless robot. He goes by the name of Frontier Cellular, and this small robot has been building something very, very big. The ship that he has been displaying in his messages is actually real. It's called the Genesis Ark, and he's been building it on the other side of the planet, hidden away and under its own shields and cloaks and what have you. and it's huge. It's a huge ship that has the same capacity and pretty much is almost identical to Diva, but it has a bit of a different purpose. This ship was meant to explore. It is literally meant to go out into space and find other worlds. So this is where the story really gets interesting, because this entire time this little robot has been trying to recruit people that will go out into space with him. And I say him because the robot has a male personality, so we're just gonna go with him. But because he's a robot, though, you'd think that he was maybe more robotic or android-like, but he's actually quite human for his personality and his knowledge, and Dingo was quite fond of that. But fast forward, of course, after they piece together everything, they figure out what's going on. They figure out, okay, this is the hacker. He's a real robot. He's harmless. Angela goes back with her report and her plea to pretty much leave the Frontier Settler alone, and he will leave Diva alone, and that'll be the end of it. But Diva was not having that at all. As a matter of fact, they imprisoned her. So she's imprisoned. They immediately tried to set an assault team out for the Frontier Settler and his base. And the Frontier Settler, being the master hacker that he is, pretty much just freed Angela. And together with Dingo, they fought off the assault long enough for the Frontier Settler to finally take off in his ship and proceed with his mission, his lifelong mission. Angela decided to stay behind and pretty much live with Dingo. It's pretty much what she wanted to do. She wanted to see more of Earth. She wanted to learn more about Earth, and she wanted to learn more about Dingo. Of course, there's sort of like a weird relationship thing, but that's how it was. And I think that was a pretty good ending for that movie. I encourage you, if you have any time at all, do check it out. Expel from Paradise. Of course, I'll have the actual name in the article on the website, the full name on the website, so you can find it easier. Check it on your streaming sites or torrent sites or wherever, however you do that. So, right, but it's a pretty good movie, pretty good indeed. Now, I do have more anime to talk about, but because this video has literally been long enough, I'm gonna cut it off here. And that was the last This Week in Anime for this year. And this year has been a pretty awesome year. There's been a ton of good anime. I could not cover them all. Please do yourself a favor, if you have not watched much anime this year, check out your local streaming site. Check out whatever anime sites you have. There's so much stuff to look at. Check out my previous This Week in Animes. There's about 12 or 13 of them, whatever the heck, whatever. There's more than a few of them. Check them out on the website. See what ones you've missed, what ones interest you. And it's just been a really good year, and here's hoping that 2015 is just as good, if not better, for anime. So I can't wait to see you guys in This Week in Anime, which will be number 14, and they will be in 2015. So hey, I'll see you then. You guys have a good one. Bye.